This is the book of Mark, chapter 3, beginning at verse 23. And it reads, And he called them unto him and said unto them in parables, How can Satan cast out Satan? Verse 24, And if a kingdom be divided against itself, that kingdom cannot stand. Verse 25, And if a house be divided against itself, that house cannot stand. Verse 26, And if Satan rise up against himself and be divided, he cannot stand, but hath an end. I want to start off by giving all praise, all honor, and all glory to Kol Loyam, La Yahweh, Ba Hashem, Yahushai, Ba Hashem, Racha, Kodash Barakatham. I want to say double honors to my apostles, the elders of the great millstone who teach and do rule well. I want to say peace and salutations to the Akim, across the four corners of the earth, pushing his truth with faith and with sincerity, as well as risking their lives and their freedom to do so, so that ever, now more so than ever. Shalom to the Akim and the Akwath out there listening and learning, Lord, willingly. This is an edifying video. Shalom to the Israelite foreigners scattered abroad in the land of other nations, appearing like the other nations, but subscribing to this truth. To you, I say Shalom. It's your brother Yahweh out of the GMS Cleveland Church, a fellow servant. And I'm coming at you with another lesson through the Spirit and through the power of Yahweh Shemel Shai. This lesson is in regards to, again, the Spirit, the Lord Yahweh Shemel Shai put the Spirit on me to, check out the economy. Normally I know it wasn't myself because I wasn't never into anything like that, but based on this truth and, keeping up with current events and whatnot, the Spirit jumped on me too. So I follow like maybe 3 or 4 different economists. And again, that's how I know this place is going, it's on its way out, because all of them are speaking the same thing. Now, you got, of course, those that are juiced in with Esau, so they're saying something contrary, but those that are not, that's literally saying it for what it is and reporting it truly, shooting it straight. They literally, all the ones I follow say that this bitch is going down. So I think it was Johnny Bravo. He called himself Johnny Bravo. And he was going into, I wasn't even aware of this, but it was a poll. And it says, Startling new poll finds political violence gaining a mainstream foothold. So this is dated October 25th, 2023. And they're showing you demonstrators and U.S. Capitol Police battle fight over a barricade as the Capitol building grounds are breached in Washington, D.C. on January 6, 2021. So they had already sown this discord within this place when you had the January 6th riot. You had division then. You had division when you had individuals that was with the jump shot and those that were not with the jump shot. You got division in. I've even seen someone post, I want to say it was the elder Yashawamba. This is one of the higher up beloved elders, one of the superstars of Israel. I was listening to the elder brother Kazak. No, it wasn't. It was the brother from Mississippi, Salakia. It was the elder brother from Mississippi. He said, you got certain men that don't do certain things, and it's truth. And then things are lawful because, basically because they supping more with the Lord. And that's those are considered the superstars of Israel. The Michael Jordans, the Kobe Bryants, the the Mayweathers and whatnot. But it was a part that he read in there, Johnny Bravo, because basically it went into they asked Democrats, how do they feel about violence at the polls? And Democrats said that they would commit violence towards the Republicans. And then it was the opposite with the Republicans. They said the same thing. Not the opposite. It was pretty much the same exact thing. So although they are divided, they on the same accord with, fucking each other up, which is spiritual. You know what I mean? Matter of fact, I'm gonna get this. It's the book of Isaiah, chapter 19. And I'm going to just straight to the point. Isaiah chapter 19 and verse 2, and it reads, And I will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians, and they shall fight every one against his brother and every one against his neighbor, city against city and kingdom against kingdom. And, the modern day Egyptian is this Hebrew Edomite, so-called white man. When you go into just You know, certain aspects of Egyptian culture are intertwined in America, aka Babylon the Great. The elder Yashawamba from Dallas has did a number of videos in regards to the similarities between ancient Egypt and America. Like one that I could think of off the top of my head is you go into the colors red, white, and blue, which are esteemed in this society. You know, they are also the colors of ancient Egypt. And just again, there's a multitude of similarities from beer to women's rights to contraceptives to bowling. Just to name a few. So the modern day Egyptian is this red Hebrew Edomite, and basically he's going to fight against his brother. I will make Egyptian fight against Egyptian, brother against brother, neighbor against neighbor, city against city, province against province. Because this whole place is going to be basically at war. Let me find that part in here. It says the Brookings Institution decided to start asking Americans about their stomach for political violence. The way they measured this was asking if respondents agreed that because things have gotten so far off track, true American patriots may have to resort to violence in order to save our country. They just baited them in there. So they basically checking the spiritual pulse of the people, because you got to remember these individuals deal with the government. I was just listening to the guy John Williams, another one of the economists that I follow. He was going into how that whole GM strike, is pretty much, a facade, because GM is basically paying for all this automation technology, and pretty much the company is tied in. Well, the union, Salakia, the union is tied in with the company, which makes sense. You know what I mean? Like I've worked a number of union jobs in Babylon the Great. And a lot of these unions don't have the power that they used to have years ago, because they compromise and make deals with the owners. So, you got to remember, they coming into a time in this fourth industrial revolution, they don't really necessarily need people like they once did. You know what I mean? It's not a coincidence that Tesla basically talking about they got, not Tesla, Amazon has 750,000 robots. And then he went into an article and was going into basically how they got a humanoid robot that they can basically, put into, the field to work. That's capable of being programmed to do a number of tasks that a human being could do. It says the first time in March 2021, pollsters found 15% of Americans agreed. More than 2 years and 8 surveys later, the pollsters found the support for that statement rising to 23%. It's the first time they found more than 1 in 5 Americans open to condoning political violence. Says, put another way, the chaos unleashed on Congress on January 6, 2021 is going mainstream. That had seismic consequences for the country in the ways that neither party properly appreciates. A full 1/3 or 33%, which like shit like that. You know what I mean? Like these people believe in numerology and gematria and all this shit. Just they say a full 1/3. 33% of Republicans say that violence may be the answer. That is now from, I don't know, maybe it was a different article, but from the article that the guy Johnny Bravo quoted from, it said I think it was 41% of Democrats that agreed violence against Republicans, and then I think it was 40% of Republicans agreed against violence against the opposite party, the Democrats. This saying 22%. That is ahead of 22%. Well, they said 33%. Republicans say that violence may be the answer. That is ahead of the 22% of independents and 13% of Democrats who agree. So, and all in all, that's 55. That's more than half. So, out of all these different political groups, majority of them saying that violence is would be justified. But across the board, those numbers are trending in dangerous directions. When first asked in 2021, 28% of Republicans saw the virtues of political violence. 13% of Indies concurred, and 7% of Democrats shared that perspective. And among those who have a favorable view of ex-President Donald Trump, who sparked the failed insurrection on January 6th to keep him in power, there is a threefold multiplier for the merits of violence, reaching 41% support among pro-Trump Americans, which are Republicans. So maybe I mixed it up because it basically saying pretty much 41% of Republicans. This explains a few dynamics unfolding in U.S. politics at the moment. For one, most of the crowded Republican field of the White House hopefully have subscribed to some version of Trump's big lie. Says consequently, almost 4 in 10 Americans agree that it's time to pick a leader who gets things back on track, even if that means breaking the rules. Among Republicans, that number hits 48%, while Democrats trail by 19 points. Among Fox News viewers, that number reaches 53%, a slim majority, but one that cannot be ignored by a significant margin. Hispanic Catholics are most likely to agree with the rules breaking in the name of order posture, hitting 51%. And, again, more than likely, because I believe Time is the magazine that showed, Trump. I might be wrong. It was one of those old magazines though, like Time, that basically, Time has been around forever, and it, more than likely is set up by the elites. That's why certain controversial covers have been made, and you know what I mean. Like, I can't think of what newspaper or what magazine was talking about the end of money, and then it had Trump in it. But I don't think it was Time. I think it was another magazine. But nonetheless, they testing, the state of this place. They getting the pulse of the people, what people thinking, how they feeling. Because you got a lot of people upset right now because you got a lot of people struggling because of this high inflation. On top of the fact you got these people, these Edomites, willing to fund both the war in Ukraine and the war in Israel, but not really willing to help out the American tax dollar, or Salaki, the American taxpayer. So, scriptures talk about in 2 Timothy chapter 3 that in the last days perilous times shall come. And you go into that word perilous, it goes into dangerous, fierce, and it goes into hard to do or hard to bear. So, it's going to be a hard time to survive, live, to eat, to be alive. It's gonna be hard. And the Lord Yahweh Shem Shah is the one that's bringing that division, because it's His will. He's setting the stage for the return and His second coming. This is the book of Luke chapter 12. The point is, I'm gonna start at verse 51, and it reads: "Suppose ye that I am come to give peace on earth? I tell you, nay, but rather division." Verse 52, "For from henceforth there shall be 5 in one house divided, 3 against 2, and 2 against 3. And you've seen that already to a degree when you had the whole jump shot. It's been multiple brothers that made videos and spoke on their testimony about how they had family members that wouldn't even let them in the house. You had men that's in the truth that went to their parents' house and wouldn't be let in. So your division has already been sown. When a lot of these things these devils do is sorceries. That's why they name certain shit that what they name it. You know what I mean? They doing witchcraft in your fucking face. And then you got people that don't believe, but just because you don't believe doesn't mean, the scriptures say that there's no enchantment that'll work on Jacob. But you got people that don't even believe or subscribe to the scriptures. You got majority of people can't even see what the fuck going on. We are labeled and looked at as something wrong with us, or we're crazy. But then we look at y'all like something wrong with y'all, Because you can't see this shit. says, verse 3, 53, Salakia. The father shall be divided against the son, and the son against the father, the mother against the daughter, and the daughter against the mother-in-law against the daughter-in-law, and the daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law. You know, so this place is already divided based on, what people, I mean, just reading parts of that article, it's going into how you got people that don't agree with how the country's being ran. And like I said again, you coming into these winter months that are way more expensive. And these are the most demonic months as well. You know what I mean? You got 3 major holidays that are nothing but, pagan fucking holiday. When you go into Halloween, which is Samhain, a Celtic pagan holiday. Then you got Thanksgiving, which is basically you idolizing these devils for slaughtering the Gadites, who you people ignorantly call the Native Americans, the Indians. And then you got Christmas, Saturnalia, it makes you think about this. I got something simple for you because the spirit just jumped on me. You got a lot of stupid ass people think that the Most High God was born in Christmas, who you ignorantly call Jesus Christ, but he the light of the world. Now, and during the winter is known to be bleak and dark. That's when the light, the sun sets earlier. So why the fuck would you think that's just like the elder said, why would the Most High God send his beloved son back as a leopard? Because when you go into pale skin, or when you had them white spots on your skin, that was a form of leprosy. Now they trying to change the definition of leprosy, but the Bible tells you what leprosy was. The Bible tells you when Moses was talking to the Most High God and how basically the Most High God proved in Moses' mind, he told him to put his hand in his bosom, and he changed the color of his hand to white, and then he changed it back to his normal color. So if he changed it to white, he had to be what? He had to be melanated. He had to be a man of color. It's the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 15. I'm going to start at verse 16. No, I'm going to start at verse 14, Salakia. 2nd Ezra 15 and 14. Woe to the world and them that dwell therein. Woe goes into destruction or mourning. Lamentation. Verse 15. For the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. So that's another precept going into these people fighting against one another. Division and death. Scriptures, or violence, which again, it talk about the last day, it's going to be, perilous times. The Lord said he's going to send the sword, famine, and death, in multiple scriptures. It says, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. Verse 16, the point, for there shall be sedition among men. Sedition is like protest, insurrections, which you've seen with that whole article, January 6th. But that was just because people thought that, they was up under that witchcraft, that spell, you know what I mean? Because that's exactly what that was, you know what I mean? Show you how this he set up, because literally we all know he motherfucking incited that shit, but how the fuck is this man still out of jail? But you got all these people that had a part to play in that shit, that ran with that shit, that got locked up, that's getting locked up still to this day. It says, for there shall be sedition among men, and so if people, flip they top based on, they didn't like the way or the direction the country going in, how much more so when these people ain't got no food to eat, or they can't take care of their family, or they being, evicted in the cold. Because like I said, these are the harsher months, and best believe it ain't gonna be no stimulus this time. See, they done set you people up for fucking failure. It ain't gonna be no stimulus this time. Why do you think we in inflation now? Because of the stimulus that happened prior. You can't just print money out of nothing. People don't even understand how the economy works. They don't actually have their own money. They go borrow money from the IMF and the, you know what I mean? Like the fuck. It says, for there shall be sedition among men and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. And they showed you that on January 6th, 2021. But just, again, when these things come to pass, you know, it's already lightweight going on now. You go like you got brothers on the West Coast like the Elder Mwatas are talking about how you got, they basically normalizing crime out there. You go to PA, you know, I forgot the name of that street, but basically that street that's like Skid Row, like Zombie Avenue, where motherfuckers just tweaked out off that dog food and just fucked up out there. I mean, I'm like, and just imagine like the more and more, you know, that's what's gonna be your zombies. You know what I mean? Like people out here just lost and they're just gonna wake up one day and just it just be at you. So I got one final scripture because at the end of the day, this is a recipe for disaster. You know what I mean? Like I said again, you got a lot of tensions. You got you know, it's like with that Hamas and Israeli situation. You know, because they're not the Israelites, they the Israelis. Anyway, you know, you got people sitting up there talking about not like America's the land of the free, based on what these Edomites say, right? So you got all these individuals. You know, you got an open border right now where people just coming over here. Well, you know what I mean? Like you can't see what they about to do. Because they want to be able to point the finger at somebody. You know what's funny? Brother was just bringing this out. Now all of a sudden, Black Lives Matter actually has an opinion about what happened between Israel and Hamas. Now, all this time, Black Lives Matter has been around. You've never heard them supporting none of that shit. It was always about the so-called black people. But now you up here making a statement like you siding with That's how you know that they're controlled opposition. You know what I mean? Just like them three devilish, demonic bitches that run that shit, those fucking lesbians, literally, you know what I'm saying, literally made a money grab off that shit. And the Lord gonna judge them hoes too because they jakes. You know what I'm saying? Proud ass nigga women that's just literally like, but serving the devil. Because we all know that Black Lives Matter is funded by George Soros. You know, you can go look that shit up. That ain't, you know, you got to do a whole bunch of digging and nothing like that. And he for what they trying to do. You know what I mean? He for the NWO, which you already like, it's so much shit going on. Like if you look at headlines, they talking about certain military bases are getting attacked by drones. You already in World War III for real. Y'all just don't know it yet. But you will. This is the book of Ezekiel chapter 7 and verse 25. Destruction cometh, and they shall seek peace, and there shall be none. You know, it ain't going back to no peace and safety. 1 Thessalonians chapter 5 says, so like it, 1 Thessalonians chapter 5 says, they should say peace and safety and sudden destruction shall appear. Roughly paraphrased. Like, ain't gonna be no peace. You know, like I said, the world is, you know, the Lord is stirring up the earth, you know, with that Putin and Ukraine and not as Israel and Hamas. You know, why you think there's so much violence in the world right now anyway? Scriptures say, Yahweh shall say, when I come back, will the fire be already on the earth, or will it already be kindled, roughly paraphrased? It's going to be fires on the earth, and the Yahweh shall going to be coming back to bring more fire with those concentrated laser beams, you know, that concentrated fire. So if you're a so-called Black, Hispanic, Native American, Seminole Indian, West Indian, or Haitian, I implore you to come back to the law, statutes, and commandments of your power, whose true name in the Hebrew is Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, or you will be destroyed. With that, I want to give all praise, all honor, and all glory to God, Loyam, by Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, double honors to my apostles, the elders of the great millstone, teach and do rule well. Peace and salutations to the Akim across the four corners of the earth, pushing the truth with faith and with sincerity, as well as risking their lives and their freedom to do so now more so than ever. Shalom to the Akim and the Aqua out there listening and learning. Lord, willingly, this is edifying. Shalom to the Israelite foreigners scattered abroad in the land of other nations, appearing like the other nations, but subscribing to this truth. To you, I say shalom. So next time I'm able to come with another lesson, shalom, shalom. And walk like a wall, shalom.